here and our map building processes, how we are building the digital map today and what are our sources and so on. Then, wrong direction. Then, second is, I would like to talk a little bit about a project we have on the European level, which is TNITS. It's an abbreviation for Transport Network for Intelligent Transportation Systems. And this is all about map update exchange between road authorities and map makers. And then I would also make some points about, some general points about inspiring digital maps, what they are using, but also where are our challenges. And yeah. So first of all, about here. So we are a global company. Maybe some of us know us already. So we are providing digital maps for nearly every country in the world. About 150 are now navigational maps, with turn-by-turn restrictions. We have 7,000 or more than 7,000 employees, and then still growing in 56 countries. Our main offices are in Chicago, Berlin, and also Mumbai, where we have a huge production center working really on coding the map. Yeah, we are not really a startup. We are already existing since 30 years. So in former times it was navigation technologies and Navtech. After this, Nokia Location and Commerce, and then we were sold by Nokia to 3 major OEMs: BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. But these 3 OEMs, they are just investors in our company. We are still an independent private company, so they are investors, but at the same time also our customers, and we are open for all other customers. And we are serving nearly 90% of in-car navigation systems in Europe and in North America. And yeah, so I think quite some impressive numbers about the size of our company. But yeah, building or maintaining a map is really a big data problem. We are using our own field data collection with our collection. We have, as I said before, local presence in different countries where people are really present and talking with data suppliers and so on. Then we are analyzing sensor data from cars. We are using probe data, which is GPS points from users. And this all needs to be analyzed, and we have this 80K or sources and suppliers. But all those data needs to be orchestrated, and yeah, and we need to, or we are trying to make all of these sources really the best representation of the world. So it's not only about sources from third party, it's also our own collection and so on. So different things. So for example, our Lidar vehicles, with more than 400 Lidar vehicles globally collecting data with a 360-degree camera and also with a Lidar system, which is mainly used for building HD maps, which are in the future are used for automated driving. So really big automotive companies are asking for this HD map, and they're already testing it. And we have now collected, I think, more than 600,000 kilometers with HD map, also worldwide, starting with highways and then going down to national roads and highways and so on. But then also we have to manage a huge number of different sources, imageries, contacts to governments where we are buying data, for example, address data, address points, or 2D building footprints. This is really a lot, and we have always, when we are getting this data, we have a standardized quality process behind. So we are looking if this data is usable, what parts of the data we can use, what parts are not so good, which is also sometimes the case, and this needs to be all orchestrated. So this is only a little bit about our company and what challenges is to really maintain the database. Then now I would like to present this TNITS project, which started in close cooperation with GRC and the Inspire community already in 2014. At this time it was called Transportation Pilot. And yeah, the vision of this project is really bringing fresher map to the user, to the end user in the car. Because what I said before, it's a huge problem to get really the freshest information possible. So we cannot always drive every road. So we're also relying on data coming from outside. And the idea behind the TNITS is to get this data from where this is generated, from road authorities, because we think they are trusted partners with high quality data, and then they deliver this data in a standardized format to map makers and also all other open parties. As I said before, it is already a long story with TNITS. Now this year we celebrated 5 years of TNITS. This was founded at Airco as a membership platform. Then in 2014, we started the transportation pilot in cooperation with ELF and then GRC. And the specification at this time, they were developed under Inspire compliance somehow. So I still do not really understand the whole connection, but we have, for example, we have location referencing following the Inspire guidelines. We had a follow-up project in 2016, which was a funded project by the European Commission with so the transportation pilot started in Norway and Sweden, and the follow-up project with some more member states, Ireland, UK, part of Belgium, Flanders, and Finland and France. And now, this year in 2018, we started really an acceleration project with, I think there are 9 new members, with some really big countries like Spain or Hungary, Greece, and the Netherlands. So we are really working now on European scale with a lot of countries to implement this TNITS services. Just implementing the TNITS platform, it's a membership platform, so map makers are engaged. So our competitor, in this project we are more cooperating, TomTom and here are in this project, all the road authorities of the countries, but we are also supported by the European Transport and Safety Council, because they think that speed limits in the map are crucial for safety in cars. And of course, it's also supported by the European Commission and by this. Yeah. So where does it all start? As I said, it's all about map data exchange for navigational maps. It's all about road signs, speed limits, truck restrictions, new geometry of roads, transportation network, and so the idea is behind we are getting the data on a national basis from road authorities in a standardized way, delivered on a daily basis to map makers, and we are integrating the data also on a daily basis into our map. We are still not really on daily basis, but we are now already having weekly releases of our data. So we are really capturing the data which is delivered over the whole week, coming from those countries. So for the moment, it's active in Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Flanders, capturing this data on a weekly basis and integrating this in our map. And a week after, it's it's already available for navigation systems in cars when they are updating the map. It's clear. But this is really to build a seamless data flow between public authorities and the end user. So yeah, and we're always talking about road signs, and some people are always thinking, okay, road signs, it's a really static data or a static attribute. But since 2015, we already received more than 1 million changes on road network, including speed limits, truck restrictions, one-ways, and so on. So it's quite a huge number of data which needs to be processed. Just to show that there's also some dynamic behind, because sometimes you're getting the impression it's a little bit static and old-fashioned, but it's not. And yeah, TNITS Go. So we started this year with TNITS Go. Now we have 15 countries. We are 20 partners in this project. We want to implement TNITS service at least in 9 member states. And also improving the existing services. And minimum coverage, because this is it's in the European directive for ITS that it should cover at least the 10T network, but the ambition is to have more. So, for example, from Norway, Sweden, and Finland, we're getting the whole road network, including forest roads, which is a really good exchange. But we are also trying to establish, and this activity has recently started, is we are trying to establish a feedback loop, so that we are giving feedback as a map maker to the road authorities, which data is used, which data is not updated, why there was a mismatch, maybe because of wrong location referencing, or there's some noise inside the data of the road authorities, because they also do not have always really the whole picture of the data they are getting from all the municipalities. So it's really a long data chain. And the duration of the project is now 4 years. And as I said, the ambition is to really have these services implemented in all those member countries. What are the main benefits for the end user, but also for map makers? It's a trusted source, so we can really highly trust on the correctness of the data. We are getting incremental updates, so we are really only getting the changes every time in the data feed, and not. So we don't have to download the whole data set and compare it to the last data set and find out the changes. Because of this, while we are getting these incremental updates, we are able to automate the whole process, because we are just getting the changes from the chain. One other point is standardization. We are working on the sense standardization should be published still in November, so at least it was said. So the TNITS format will become a sense standard, which for both sides I think it's good. For the road authorities, it gives them really, it gives them a framework or trust how they should deliver or can deliver the data, and for the data users, it's good because we can easily set up new countries. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we need it. And then, which is also good, we have only one interface and one data agreement with each country, so we don't have to go to each municipality, to each county, and so. As you know, governmental organizations are quite complex, and in this will really reduce the workload to get all this data from all sides. Yeah, some general thoughts on Inspire. So as I said before, we are getting, we are getting a lot of data, or we are harvesting a lot of data which is available already, like addressing transportation networks, 3D models. So I know that we are using the whole data set from Spain, for example, which is really great. And yeah, this we are using. So for example, address data, sometimes we have already access to APIs, where we can really also easily download the whole data sets, and we can put them into a process. It's also not going every time to the web page, downloading the data, which helps us really to regular update point addresses. But this is only available for a few cities, not really on a large scale. Then we are using quite a lot transportation networks. For example, this is one example of Germany, where we are getting quarterly updates on the whole road network, or the whole classified road network. And we are able really to find out some new construction areas, some new roundabouts, and so on. So it's really a good tool to maintain the database on a regular basis. So yeah, Inspire data is an important source, I think, for commercial users. One point is data quality. As I said before, we have our own data quality assessments. I really fast. Data quality assessments, but the quality is not always really so good that you can use the data without validating the data. Then there's one other point: harmonization of the access point where we can get the data. So the geoportals, they are all over the countries looking. They are looking different. The metadata is, I don't know. Fire compliance should be always the same, but I think it's not always the same. Also, metadata is not often not updated. Then, yeah, of course, what I showed before, standardization is key. For, I think, which is clear, data at a bigger scale is desirable. I know that there are a lot of issues when we are talking with cities, municipalities. The regular updates are important. And one point which should not be underestimated is licensing. So often there are open data licenses that are excluding commercial use, for example, which then makes us for us and also for others not possible to use the data. And I think there's no clear guideline coming from Inspire or from somewhere else to define what is really open data. That's all. Thank you very much.
Any questions?